Hi, I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach, and this is the Organize Your Life podcast. I am passionate about organizing because it makes my clients' lives so much easier, more relaxed, and with more time to spend the way they want to. In every podcast in the show, I'll lay out a simple organizing concept, and I'll tell you why it's important. I'll also include an action step at the end so you can start practicing right away. My specialty is chunking down this big topic so it's not overwhelming. That's the concept for this podcast, which is based on my first book, 52 Simple Ways to Get Organized. The book is available on my website and on Amazon. I work with clients in person in the Berkeley, California area and via email and Skype, so you don't have to be local to me. Visit the Hire tab on my website or email me at claire@cluttercoach.net. If you like the show, please rate it and review it. To do that, go to my website, cluttercoach.net, and scroll down for the show notes. Each show notes post has a link to leave a review in iTunes. I would so appreciate that. Okay, on to the podcast. This is podcast 76, and it's about organizing challenges for couples. I usually work with individuals, but sometimes I work with couples and with families too. Even when I'm just working with an individual, there are family members lurking in the background, and they have their own wants, needs, agendas, resistances, and bad habits that we have to take into account. Sometimes I joke that I'm a marriage counselor and a personal trainer and an organizer all rolled into one. But it's kind of true. Anyone who works with people in situations where they feel vulnerable needs to have empathy and people skills to truly help them. Our homes and even our offices are personal spaces that reflect us whether we like it or realize it or not. They reveal our personalities in ways that we like, when we display artwork or decor we're proud of, and in ways we may feel shy about, say when people see the inside of that closet we haven't been able to clear out. I'm grateful that my clients trust me to see both sides of them without judgment. With couples, the level of organization and clutter in a home can reflect their shared proclivities, or one partner sets the tone and the other goes along with it, sometimes willingly, sometimes not. When the people in the last category call me, I need to make clear that we cannot impose change that's not agreed to by both parties. I know it would be so great just to call in an organizer to fix your messy partner, but it does not work that way. On the positive side, when both people are willing, they're often both more receptive to what I recommend than they would be to hearing it from their partner. That's just human nature. It's much easier to accept suggestions for change from someone you know has no investment in the outcome except that you be happy. No hidden agendas, no history, no resentments. I'm not a therapist, though. I work with couples as a coach. Sometimes it's like running a business meeting. Everyone brings their ideas to the table to discuss. When one person finishes presenting an idea, I ask the other to respond, and vice versa. If we come to a stalemate, I try to figure out where the resistance is coming from, and if it's something we can talk about and get past. If that doesn't work, I suggest scaling back on the project. That's good advice anytime. Whenever you're not making adequate progress on a goal, or any progress at all, see if you can make the goal smaller, or make your next step toward it smaller. Downscaling lowers the stakes, lowers the risk, and that in turn usually lowers your stress level and your resistance to doing it. It's more effective to do a smaller project, like a pilot project, and get it done, than to continue to negotiate over a larger one. Finishing something is instructive. You can learn a lot even from a small project. You learn about your own process, and you can observe your partner's. That's all important information to use as you go up to a higher level, more complicated project. Another technique I use is to back up all the way. Go back to why the people hired me in the first place. At the core, there is something that they both want, which is usually to make their house a nicer place to live, make their lives easier, whether that means decluttering, organizing, rearranging, developing new habits, or dividing up responsibilities differently. This too is a great strategy for anyone. If you're slacking off on a goal, it could be for many reasons, such as feeling overwhelmed, feeling incompetent, or feeling guilty. It could also be lack of motivation. If it's that, you need to remind yourself of why you've set this course for yourself. Remind yourself that each task you do, such as clearing out an old bin of magazines, is getting you closer to that goal, even though the task itself is tedious and seems like not a good use of your time. A third strategy I recommend for couples is mind your own business. Or as my sister might say, don't be a Budinsky. In a shared home, it's not always simple to figure out whose business is what. This is where compromise, negotiation, and delegation come in. Let's look at those three. Compromise is when one partner makes a conscious decision not to be bugged anymore by the collection of woodworking magazines that takes up all that space on the bookshelves. Negotiation is when one partner agrees to take out the trash if the other will clean the bathroom. Delegation is when both partners agree that one will be in charge of, say, bill paying, for example. Delegating can save a lot of time and headaches, and ideally, the person best suited for the job will also want to do it. It gets trickier for people who like things done a certain way, although it can work if there are just a few areas where this occurs, and the less picky partner is in agreement. When it doesn't work is when the perfectionist partner, because that's what this is about, wants more things done their way than they have capacity to actually get done. With a couple at home, this often translates into a house full of undone projects and tasks because partner A intends to do them, but doesn't have time. This causes even the least picky partner B to get a little bent out of shape. My advice to perfectionist partners, and any perfectionists, is this. Pick your battles. Pick them, fight them, and win them. Or lose them. Doesn't really matter. Focus on the ones that matter most, because everything cannot matter the most. Take action, because action must be taken to make progress, even if it's not exactly right. Let it play out, because without resolution, you never win. You don't lose either, but you never win. Never. When you pick your battles, you also pick the ones you aren't going to fight. This means you delegate them. It's critical to delegate completely, not to micromanage or be critical of the other's execution. Of course, the other person won't do it perfectly. That's a given. The other person also won't do it your way. It can be helpful here to step back and look at the overarching goal, as I mentioned before. Let the goal of improving the quality of your living space be satisfied by the task your partner has completed, even if you know you could have done it better. Done is better than perfect. What you can do now. If you've got a home organizing issue you need to work out with your partner, pick one of the strategies I've given and try it. Explore resistance, scaling back, remembering your big goal, and checking your motivation. Also, check out compromise, negotiation, and delegation. Don't try them all at once. Small steps are better. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach. If you like the show, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review in iTunes. You can subscribe, too, so the podcast will be ready and waiting for you to listen to. You'll find the show notes on my blog at www.cluttercoach.net, and you can check out my store to find books I've written and a whole bunch of other stuff. If you're a fan of the show, you can become a patron on patreon.com for as little as $1 a month. You can find my page by going to the Patreon website, that's Patreon, and searching on Clutter Coach. I'll still post the podcast free of charge, but I've got some cool rewards for folks who want to help me make the show even better. Come back next week for a new podcast.